We're backpacking again, people. Episode 502. We're in Hong Kong this time, reviewing the movie Rigor Mortis. And I had a good time with this one. I'll say that. I'll start with
Yeah.
that. What I will also say is it is a decline from the last 2 weeks, for sure. But it wasn't a bad movie at all.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad movie at all. But what are your guys' thoughts? Early thoughts, I'll say.
This is in my wheelhouse.
With
So
the
the paranormal side. So
and the foreign side of it, of course, which we
and
go
the
all
foreign
around.
and the foreign horror and the intensity of it and
Mm-hmm.
all of it. It's just I don't know. It's different. It's like how they show like the twins.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
scene, those scenes are like you're like holy shit. Two dead twins haunting the place. Well, quote. We'll get there. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I enjoyed this. I love paranormal movies, especially when there's a twist in it at the end. You're like, what the
mhm.
fuck? So that's pretty cool. What do you think,
You know,
Trevor? I know you got a
you,
lot of dump.
could I
You got a
Well,
lot.
could I just say one more thing real quick?
yeah, man.
What I want to say, James, like I don't dislike the movie. I hope you didn't get that from it. I
No,
just
I didn't get
feel
that. No, I know what you mean. The other ones were wild and more like.
no. I think even story, especially the last movie. Um, I saw
I
the
saw
devil.
Devil. Oh yeah, I saw Devil's way better than this. Yeah,
That movie was phenomenal. Like that movie, just because thinking back at it, which I am gonna be doing something else on that movie, by the way. So be on the lookout for that. But thinking back at it, like real quick, just looking back at it, like the way that story is, man, the way that fucking story is, it's really, really, really emotional. Like you figure this guy loses everything in the beginning as far as his everything, as far as his wife and his fiance, sorry, and his unborn child. And then he loses everything. Like then he loses himself through what he goes, before he goes through the movie, which people, if you haven't seen the movie, definitely check it out and definitely check out the episode. I'm not going to get too into it, but just that story and so many emotions it brought you through. And this one didn't do that for me. This one didn't do that. It didn't really bring me through too many. Like I don't think I really got emotionally connected with this one at all. Not saying that that's a. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I still think it was a good movie overall. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the past couple of weeks, maybe because of what went on and the craziness, which you did have, which we say grape on here, the G word. You did have a grape scene in here too, which was just crazy and intense. But it didn't seem like it tied in with the story as well as the last two movies, it was as important to the character or to the story as the two movies, the past two
well,
movies, in my opinion.
it created the twins,
But
the
it did create.
ghosts.
Yes, that is the thing though. It did create the twins and what they went through. So I guess, I guess I'm wrong right there. Then now that you mentioned that,
Because the twins were an important part of it. Well, for the vampire side
I
of it.
forgot about that part because I forgot about how they kill it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But what about you, Trevor? What are your thoughts on
Well,
this?
as far as my first thoughts is like before we came on, I thanked you for having me watch this movie. It has been on my radar for years. It's not one that I've heard talked about a great deal. Um, and the promotion that was done by Wells Go USA on this film, look at the main poster. It screams like some kind of matrixed kung
Yep.
fu
Yep.
boxing epic. And
Yep.
this is the furthest thing. I thoroughly enjoyed this film as
Yep.
much as the other ones, but this is very different. The first film, Ichi, was genre setting. I Saw the Devil is an insanely good psychological thriller. And this is taking a look at the concepts of Chinese black magic, but
Mm,
connecting it to the cinema of the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s in Hong Kong. So this was just a huge joy for me because it took me back to part of my early teenhood in which my friend Eric Myers and I, who eventually went on to direct Butterfly Kisses, would literally just go to like two Chinese markets that had VHSs of Chinese films in Columbia, Maryland, and we'd spend the day just, we outdid the horror crap. We went on to the Chinese one. So
Mhm.
the films that this references in some major ways or part of my youth. So I want to thank you for introducing me to this film because it's a
Oh,
hidden
I'm,
gem. uh yeah, it was awesome in my opinion.
see, for me, and behind the scenes, we all have these jokes, which I told Trevor I'm adding him to this fuck you list. To where when I
Mm.
find a weird, strange movie that is rare and I feel is rare, and he saw it, even more so if this motherfucker comes to his pulls it out on VHS or DVD, I'm gonna say fuck you. If he sends me a picture, I'm gonna give him the finger. But he
Well, I
knows it's
am
all
going
out of
to
love. It's
I am
just
going to
one of
show
those
some
things.
covers today. I don't want to just to help explain a few things, so I
Oh,
apologize
I
in
can't wait.
advance.
Oh no, no,
So
no, that's fine. That's fine. I love all that stuff. I'm just saying when
Yeah.
I bring up certain movies, because I have a friend, a great friend I consider family, and his name is Matt.
Do you
mm,
know if he
You and
has
your
it
horror
yet?
movies, you and your horror movies, go check him out.
I'm
yeah.
sure he has this
Every
one.
fucking time I ask him about a movie, 97% of the time he has it, and I'm sick of
Mm,
it. But I love it at the same time. I'm happy.
mm,
Mm,
It's just something else to talk shit about. That's all.
mm.
John,
Exactly.
what's good? How's it going, man? Appreciate you for stopping
Hey,
in.
bud.
Yo, how's it going?
What's
Hope you're
up,
gonna be here
Joe?
for New York Ninja. That's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun one. I haven't watched it yet, but tomorrow
That,
watch
that's
party.
that's a
New
classic piece
York
of
Ninja.
crap. Yeah.
New
Classic
York
piece of
Ninja.
crap. Yeah.
You'll enjoy
Uh,
it. Yeah, trust me, guys.
oh,
But it's
oh, shit.
One of those. One of
Uh,
those.
well. So
so
since
this all
we're
starts off him. So he goes to this apartment. He does he just get he just got the apartment and he gets the apartment to hang himself, to
mhm,
attempt to kill himself.
yes.
That's could have done a hotel, but whatever. But
Well, one thing I can tell you that makes this film seem less than the other ones is you're putting in millennia of superstition.
yep.
Uh, Good God, almost 60 years of Chinese cinema that used Chinese witchcraft,
Mhm.
good and bad, um, is, as Japan has the yokai,
Yep.
which influenced The Ring and all these films, there's a whole element of that in China, and that is called Jiangyangxi. Oh, hell, I killed that. I told you. So it's called Jiangsai. And Jiangsai references the concept of black magic, but specifically in this film, the element of black magic that is the vampire. The vampire
Mhm.
is something that it's not all Bram Stoker or whatever
Nope.
influenced Bram Stoker. Almost every culture in the world has a different vampire. And the
Mhm.
vampires in Chinese folklore jump. As you'll see in the movie, the older woman that is actually the wife of the guy who dies. So a
Mhm.
black magician can put what's called a goo or an evil spell on him to make him come alive as a vampire. He just wants to do it. He's gotten to an age where he's like, okay, great, I can finally make myself a vampire. This is a nefarious thing, so it's black
Mhm.
magic. Um, but that is literally how a vampire is created. This film, it's that short time to get a lot of information, but it spends a lot more time than in some of the films I'm going to talk about later. That were not just huge influences on this film, but the cast, it's all connected to them. So it's just a wonderful film, in my opinion.
Mm, I agree.
You
I
mentioned
like the take on the vampire on this. Like it was controlled, like the guy he created it. Yeah, he was dying of cancer. So he was like, I have nothing to lose, so I'm gonna to do this experiment. I'm gonna
And I
make a
mean,
vampire.
if you spent most of your life smoking baby fetuses,
Yeah, that's
I
crazy
mean,
when
he
they
made
said
it
that.
to
I
a
was like,
pretty
what?
ripe old age, and I can only imagine what was on that gentleman's bucket list. So, making a vampire, which is a very intense goo, spell, which can be okay. So, one of the things that the movie didn't do that's very key in black magic witchcraft is the concept of the insect. So, to make a goo, you have to have some sort of vessel, usually a pot or something. And there are all kind of things you need to put in, but most importantly, you need 3 specific kinds of insects. Now, at the time in China, insects also included snakes, rats, etc., etc., etc. Now, the Shaw Brothers company, which is best known for its kung fu epics, uh, 36 Chambers of the Shaolin, all this kind of stuff, did a whole line of films that were on the horror end, most importantly being a film called Black Magic. Also did other ones, Seeding of a Ghost, Bewitched, and Hex, which give you more detailed concepts of a goo. And the thing with the Shaw Brother films in the 70s is they are filled with, you think Fucci's films on an Italian level are just so gross with the insects and the snakes. The Shaw Brothers stuff, which is amazing to begin with, is kind of set the tone for what eventually became Category 3, which were the extreme films in Hong Kong that were basically given an X rating. Like Rigor Mortis is post that, but at the time it would have been given a Category 3. So, yeah, that's something it didn't add that kind of irked me because it's so important. But it was definitely focused on another line of films. And those films came out in the 1980s. And if you're not familiar with the gentleman named Sammo Hung was a director, writer, choreographer, martial artist, actor who honestly, and another friend, Will, I'm going to make him mad, is more important than Jackie Chan, of witchcraft in China, and also, what came a series called the Encounters of the Spooky Kind. And this is one of the first times that in Hong Kong cinema, the jumping vampire was even referenced to, which then led to one of his proteges, Ricky Lau, making Mr. Vampire, which was the blockbuster film all about jumping vampires. And it then led to about 4 sequels. Now, all this gibberish I'm throwing out at you, and I apologize, comes to a reason.
No. Keep it
Okay,
going.
so the whole point of this is your main actor, Chin Siu-ho, plays himself, and he was a child actor in the Hopping Vampire films. Anthony Chan,
Oh,
who plays the White Magician, he is a legend in Hong Kong cinema, but also was in the vampire films. And that goes for the old lady, Kara Wee, Uncle Tong, Richard Nong. They all were in these vampire films. So when the director, Juno Mak, who actually was a huge pop star, made this film, it was a total in joke about those 80s films that were the Mr. Vampire films. And they spawned all kind of comedies. So witchcraft in the late 80s into the 90s in Hong Kong was comedy. So, that was made it different me watching it. So, I don't know. Sorry for that long ramble.
No,
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 that's
no. We
awesome.
love it. We love it. I want to learn this shit.
That was good information. I
Hell
would
yeah.
never do that.
That's awesome.
Damn. I love when movies connect with shit like that. Where they do that. Like directors will go, you know what? Let's get the people who are in this shit that I'm connecting it to.
Yeah.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
the sad thing is, I don't think the film did extraordinarily well because Juno Mak only made one other film afterwards, and this is a great film.
No, I
Um,
really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. With that said, let's hop in the ratings real quick before
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
that's right.
well, real quick, I wanted to ask you
Oh, yeah.
guys, this particular film, did it remind you a great deal of Japanese horror also?
Yeah.
Okay, so the director named Tamaki Shimizu was actually the mastermind behind the Ju-on films, and he was brought on as the main producer. So
Mm.
there is this feel
Yep.
of Japanese horror because he was brought in to make it commercial at the time. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, I definitely had that feel to it. Like if I
Mm.
watched this and someone said, "Hey, where do you think this movie came from?" I would lean towards Japan a little bit
Mhm.
Mhm.
because that would have been my just
This your
pop in
default.
my
I get
head.
it.
Yeah, my guess would have been, and they're like, "Nope, you're wrong. That's Hong Kong." I'm like, "Wait, really? Oh shit!" Because it does have that
Mhm.
Japanese vibe to it.
Mhm.
Um, fuck, what I was gonna say, but oh, about this. Okay, so this whole fucking shit, what the vampire, how the guy's like telling the woman keep
Mhm.
that thing on his mouth, keep the mask on. So
Mhm.
I guess the mask comes off, he's unleashed or something. I
Now,
don't fucking.
something this movie does very, very well is it delves a little deeper into kind of the historic thing, and there's a lot more. Uh, you can't really call it historically accurate, but based on witchcraft lore and literature, the jumping vampire films of the 1980s, you literally just stuck a note on their head. So that was a take on that. I mean, that is more symbolic of what a
Okay.
Chinese vampire. So that is maintaining control.
Okay.
And once that is taken off, the vampire is then only going to be caught by somebody who is um, hopefully in white magic, but also it would have to be a priest of one kind of magic to even slightly stop a jumping vampire, which in this film they updated it so he just kind of floats. But
Yeah,
jumping vampires are wonderful to see.
that's cool.
That's interesting. What's your guys' ratings on this film? James, you want to go first?
Yep, I really enjoyed this. I'm giving this an 8
Ooh, nice, nice.
because I really like the twist we'll talk about at the end too. That's the reason. It was a twist to me. That
Yeah, I'll be honest, that still, I didn't get a chance to really research that. But as far as the ending
oh,
that with the building, we can talk about later. That makes
oh
sense within the
oh
confines.
I got something from the ending. I figured out.
Ooh,
I thought it was obvious.
okay.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead. Go with your rating. So we'll talk about the ending.
Yep.
oh
You go
yeah.
ahead,
Go
sir.
ahead with your
I
rating,
get
Trevor.
Yeah, I gave it 8.
I'd go with 8.5.
All right. I'm gonna go with a 7.5 for this one. Liked it a lot. Didn't love it, but James, what were you saying?
All right, so the ending. So I was trying to connect. I'm like, why the fuck is this movie called Rigor Mortis? So this whole shit with the ending where it zoomed, like it flashed back to a different, like he did a different way, like if
Hmm.
he did something differently, he really killed himself, and that's what the brain is reacting. That's
Hmm.
like the when your brain is shutting down.
Hmm.
This is all hallucination shit he's seeing. So through this whole movie, you really think this dude? Okay, this is a foreign Hong Kong movie where they base they're really superstitious and everything,
Hmm.
you know. So I'm thinking this is a movie like okay, this dude that has white magic. I was like,
Hmm.
it's gonna be one of those movies. They're fighting ghosts and shit, the twins. They gotta
Hmm.
stop the twins. Then a vampire came. I was like, where the fuck did the vampire come from? So I was like, oh shit! So this whole building, they got to fight these fucking demon things.
Mm-hmm.
But you find out this fucking movie, it's what he's seeing while he's dying. It's his brain shutting down. That shit was wild to me because I didn't notice it until the end. I connected the name of the fucking movie.
That is very easily a definite reading of the film.
I was like, damn. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Now, for me, what the ending meant for me was yet again connected back to Chinese witchcraft. And so basically, that apartment building was probably connected to some black magician's goo. And that apartment building is literally a prison for all those people who die there. And like any ghost in almost any culture, they are constantly haunted by their past, and it is constantly a slap in what they hope will happen. And being very close to where what you were getting is it's what would potentially go through a ghost brain, which maybe that is literally that second. There's always been that saying that when you die, your life will flash in front of your eyes. It's very feasible, but I connected it to the lore when I read it. The thing that got me though was at the very, very end. I couldn't figure that one out.
What part is that?
The random character.
Oh, the son that came in?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So they basically connected that. The kid, he went and killed himself because he probably divorced. His family broke apart. He was a deadbeat father because the son came. He was like, "Yeah, that was my father." He had that that voice like he didn't care about his father. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah,
that's my dad.
Oh,
So
wow.
I wonder if it was a broken family and he killed himself because he lost his family.
Well, that, but also that kind of makes sense to me in the idea that, he, our lead character, basically kills himself by allowing the white magician to just literally do what he needs to do. After you pointed that out, I would say my take now is, since he did do that, he is able to get some prize. Now, it's never really, I mean, it's kind of vaguish exactly what happens to his family. One complaint you guys had, and I have to agree with it, and yet again, it's based on time, is stuff just has to happen. Like, there's no explanation why. Okay, so there is a woman and a child, and supposedly that woman's husband was a teacher, and he was doing like teaching stuff, like not, but tutor, there's a term, tutoring these twins. Unexplained why he decides to grape one of them and the other one. All those spirits are trapped. That's all the information. So that is a complaint, but I think it works because, at least for me, because I'm used to how the 80s films were set up. There was an element you just had to be like, okay, suspend belief.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And damn, that's a good way. That's a really good take on that, Trevor.
Well, thank you.
That's a really good.
I was tickled. I'm sorry, I've been babbling like crazy, but you did something that is super awesome, and that's put me onto a film that I've been neglecting and going, oh shit. This is, I mean, this is a love letter to a particular kind of Chinese cinema, and it was awesome. So I apologize if I babbled. I'm like
you're
a little
good.
kid, giddy. So
no, I was like, I seen the cover multiple times, and I just skipped over it for some reason. I don't know why. I should have clicked it. I should have at least looked into it, seeing what it was about. But I just skipped over it. So it was on my radar too. I've seen it a few times, and I'm glad I watched it now.
Same here, because this movie cover definitely looks very familiar, and it looks like something I definitely I should check it out. But I'm so weird and lazy with movies and shows if it's not connecting with the podcast. That's why I'm doing so many more movies now and adding on shows. You know, surprise, surprise. Be adding on some shows in the near future for Horror Research 30, and we're already doing it on Popcorn and Pints. Just because it's like, yes, of course you want to make more content, but it's not just that. It's more so of like there's so much cool shit that we're missing out on. We're just not watching. There's no reason why we're just not watching it just because we're not watching it. But it feels. I think it also feels. It's so natural because we've been doing it for so long together now. Like I've been doing it for going on 7 years, but like recording with James, it's been going on at least 3.5, if not 4 years. I have to assume 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Between starting with this, but also with Popcorn and Pints as well. So with me, him, and Chris, about 2.5, 3 years, I want to say, and then maybe with me and him 3.5, 4.
Well,
So,
dude,
I don't know.
you just recently celebrated your 500th episode. That is an amazing benchmark.
I appreciate
in itself. Just one show. That's freaking awesome, dude.
And what it is though is I enjoy talking. I mean I'm noticing more and more I enjoy talking about this stuff just as much as I enjoy watching this stuff. So it's a lot easy. That's why it's a lot easier. Where I'm like, all right, it's not. Yes, I mean, of course, yes, it's for the content, but it's also for the Yes, it's for the content. It's also for the conversation, but it's also so I'll actually freaking watch the shit. Like honestly, it's also. I'll say most importantly, so I'll actually watch the movie or watch the show. Like if we're discussing it, just because there's so much out there, it's like, what do I start with? What do I start with? What do I start with? I'm like,
And it's only the tip of the iceberg. I hate to tell everybody, but there is so much cinema that no people are still trying to figure out who has the license on so much stuff. Because it got shown and then just kicked off. So, we have access to so many films we haven't had before, but it is just tip of the iceberg.
I know.
I mean, as far as Chinese cinema, right now we're in a major renaissance. Like Shaw Brothers films, you literally had to get dupes of. Are now available in pristine quality. So there are great companies out there. Shout Factory.
Shout Factory is awesome.
All these. Shout Factory does a great job with them. Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, etc. And they're doing God's work in the fact that they're creating like physical media for people who want all that stuff that streaming does not provide.
Agreed. And physical media is super important. I just because you mentioned it, physical media is super important. One, because of what Trevor just said. There's stuff that streaming just doesn't provide, and then there's stuff that streaming provides, but then they take it from you. And if you got it on your Blu-ray, your DVD, your VHS, and all that shit, I'm sure you have it on everything else. You're good. And never mind, I won't say that out loud. I'll behave. I'll behave, YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for even thinking it.
I have no idea.
Nothing too crazy. It's nothing too crazy. I can say it. I'll say it off air because it's not bad.
Okay.
I just don't know. Yeah.
That's fine.
Pass. It's like pass the Dutch or pass the controller.
Squirrel.
Exactly. And that goes back to the whole why I love reviewing stuff or discussing it in one way or another, whether it being in like a top 10 or something, just so I'll actually watch it, just so I'll actually check it out versus, hey, I might check that out. Hey, I want to watch that because I've been doing that for so damn long. It's annoying. It's getting on my damn nerve. Like I annoy myself with that shit. Me and James have these conversations all the time. I've been meaning to watch this for so long. I'm glad we're discussing it. I'm glad we're reviewing it.
just to back up everything you just said, and give a big shout out to McManhattan with the scene snobs, because he understands it, and you guys have entered the calm culture. There are certain fandoms, and it's by far more than it was. Fandom is family, because we don't just get excited about talking about what we like. We feed off the enthusiasm because it justifies what a lot of people say, oh, that's just a hobby.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
This shit's a lifestyle. This is more than a hobby.
Exactly.
This is life. This is like you said, it's like a family. You build, so just think of how many people you met just from being a fan of, let's just say, film in general.
Yes.
And then you can break it down to horror. And I'll just say, from our crew, the people that we talk to and record with, you could break that down to just horror, and we're all still cool. But you could open up the movies, and it's like, oh shit, we also like this stuff as well. And we're still gonna dig in. Like, I know if I got to see a weird, crazy movie or an awesome foreign movie or any of that, foreign correspondent Trevor, listen.
Well, thank you.
Can you?
I hate to say it's a symbiosis, and it's like a mutual parasitum, because we are feeding off each other. But the horror community is tight. It really isn't snobbish like it used to be. Yes, it was. Some of you remember that. It was a real pain in the ass for a while. But there's this symbiotic relationship between horror and metal that is just truly amazing. And that's always been an interest of mine as a horror fan and a music fan.
Yeah.
That's yes. I like that. I like that. Freaking Rigor Mortis, man. I'm gonna pull this wheel up really, really, really quick and see what we're doing next week. While we what were some of your favorite parts of this film, Trevor? And James.
Good question.
I'd say for me, it's when I figured out quite early that this was going to be a jumping vampire film. That's when I got giddy. So
awesome. I think I like the where I figured out it was his dying brain, that ending where they did that little. To me, it was like a little spin, because I wasn't catching on until I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh, it's one of these movies. I was just enjoying the supernatural part. Then that little twist came, and I was like, oh shit. So yeah, I'll say that.
I think it's important to remember, China especially, but especially in Asia, superstition is still a real thing. And do I see funny games?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Michael fucking Haneke.
Yes, sir. Hold on, let me start.
I will be joining you if you have me.
Of course. Listen, Trevor, I already said it. We need you here for the whole thing, for the whole foreign.
Well, thank you.
The rest Trevor, because you like metal, you heard of Ice Nine Kills, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say they're metal and they sing about horror stuff.
Well, I think my favorite horrorcore metal is Mortician. I love that. But
I gotta check them out. I think I heard
so many wonderful. Most of their songs, like the first minute, is nothing but a part of a horror film. So it sets up the song, and then bam, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check them out.
Cool.
I have to tell my brother, he's into that kind of music. I have to tell what's it called, Mortician?
Mortician.
He probably already knows about it, knowing Henry.
Yeah, if you get a chance, can you just send me a link, Trevor, later on? Because I'll probably
I know no problem, definitely. They were on my playlist the other night, so
nice.
Oh yeah, by the way,
for barbecue.
By the way, I was watching. That was a fucking hilarious list. I was like, what the fuck is that? What was vegan?
Well, thank you.
Was
vegan grindcore?
Vegan? What the? I was like, the fuck is that?
Well, grindcore is very much connected to anarcho-punk, which is very much connected to DC hardcore, and a lot of influence from the straight edge movement was very much connected to the grindcore movement. So basically,
Okay.
these were straight edgers doing this. I mean,
Okay.
even Napalm Death in its original form was, I don't think they were all vegan, but they were very much concerned with animal rights from day one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was because I heard that I was like, what the fuck? But then when Mick said, "Are you making this a shit up?" I fucking died because that shit made me laugh because it does sound like a made up list. The shit
The
that
more
you're
you dig, the
saying.
more weird shit you find, and that's the joy of life.
It was good. It was
That
funny.
is very freaking true. And you're gonna find some shit. You're gonna find some shit.
I gotta fucking. You should actually send your list too because I gotta look up some of these bands. I never heard of these bands in my life. It's fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The connection in music and horror. And this again,
Yeah,
look at it. This is all starting from horror. Now these were gonna connect
Yeah.
the music
dude.
back and forth.
I love when they do that. There's so many songs that, for example, before it used to be majority of hip hop will sample from horror movies, like
Well, that was
Mike
horrorcore.
Myers.
Yeah.
Uh,
Grave
who's
Diggers, whole bunch of bands like that.
who
Oh
did
yeah.
the Mike Myers one?
That might have been Grave Diggers. I mean, that was RZA's horrorcore rap outfit.
It could have been, yeah. So that was like, I was like, oh wow, this is cool. But remember the first? Okay, I don't know if this was the very first song, but Will Smith's "The Freddy Krueger Nightmare on
Oh
Elm
yeah,
Street."
yeah,
That
That's
that's
a
I
good
was
bad.
song.
like, yo,
Boom,
that
boom,
was
boom.
crazy.
Mm.
A good song.
That I never because I was young at the time. Was that a tag team thing? Was that a
I don't
promotional thing?
know. Well, before we talk a little bit about funny games, one thing I do want to
I don't
say
know.
is yet again the Scene Snobs. We're doing a mixtape, aren't we, on Tuesday, and that's going to be horror music from horror films.
It
Oh
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I should.
so
I'm going to try to be on it.
cool.
Nice.
I'm going
Nice.
to try. I'm going to try to be on it. I'm probably this weekend. I'll look up. Try to make a list
And
of
it's not
songs.
scores, it's like so it's
No,
Mhm.
yeah, the actual songs are in it. Like, say there's an '80s song.
yep.
Like
In the
fucking,
actual in the actual movie.
you got REO Speedwagon or something playing.
Yep.
Ouch.
Fucking.
I think you just gave me a stroke.
Trevor, that's James's favorite whatever they are. Is that a
I'm
band?
Dude,
sorry.
it's not my favorite. No, I do like a couple of their songs. My mother listened to all the time. I grew
Mhm.
up with
They're
oldies and
iconic. They're iconic.
yeah, the
Definitely.
'80s rock bands
Mhm.
and all that shit. So
That's fair.
Boston,
Awesome.
fucking
Yep.
Eagles,
Chicago. Yeah.
Chicago. Oh, okay. I'll admit that I love Chicago.
Mhm.
No one hate on Chicago. I love
Oh,
Chicago.
no hate for Chicago, but I will say, um, before you anything sturdy. So
You're good.
please, if you're watching this and you're going to watch next week for funny games, do not watch the US version. It is
Oh no.
directed by Michael Haneke and it is shot by shot the same, but it is not the same movie. Uh, it's uh, it's not as violent as the films we've seen, but it is a shocker.
Okay, so no, not the American version. You got to find the actual
Find the
foreign.
original version by Michael Haneke. Well, they're both by
Okay,
Michael Haneke, but yeah. And we
okay.
didn't point the biggie, and this is a biggie even in horror film. You almost have to point it out, and that is Rigor Mortis features a graphic child murder.
Yes, it
So
does, and
warning there, if that's going to be a trigger for
Mhm.
you, Rigor
it don't
Mortis is not.
show it really, but it showed the aftermath, and that was
That's even more
insane.
gruesome. That's even more gruesome.
That was
To
a
to
gory
where
scene.
pieces of the
Mhm.
hair with
Scalp.
scalp
Mm.
to it. I'm like, wow.
But you know what I gotta say about that though is that's what I love about foreign film. That's what I love about
Mm.
foreign film is they'll take it there, not only will they take it there, they'll take it there with a story. So it makes they're not doing it just to do it. Here, I'm not gonna say all the time, but I'll say I feel like a lot of times in horror, it's more of like a shock value thing than it is more so of a like it has something to do with the story. It really ties in with the story.
It was the
And it
final
makes it,
step for the vampire because it was a virgin. It needed
yeah.
Well,
virgin blood.
the
No, I
first
know.
way was
I know.
screwed up. So when the first way was screwed up, the only other way would be with a virgin's blood. And
Yep.
automatically you know it's going to be the child. I
Yep.
think the interesting part in it is it actually adds depth to the white magician, Jung, because he sees through what she is sewing. She's showing little patterns that are connected to black magic. She's a seamstress for everybody and she does it for free. He notices these things. He actually takes the child because he feels suspicious. But this black magic is so strong, he's like, well, this seems fine. And you can only imagine, it's not portrayed a lot, but how his character must feel because he literally delivers
Yeah.
an albino Asian, pure purity in that culture. Um, yeah, I mean, that was a huge fuck up for white magic in that film. And that's really, I mean, I felt the film was even more mature because it did do that. It wasn't like, I mean, because the twins and the doubles and the yin and yangs, this made it a little bit more muddy. And I like that.
And also the other story too is the main character that killed herself takes in that boy and that mother into his apartment. So and to him it's like he's starting his life over. So it adds up to like the end where he was a shitty father, so now he probably feels like he's doing good.
Well,
But then the
like
boy
anything
dies and he
Asian,
loses it. He just
anything
falls apart.
Asian, you have the Taoist and Buddhist yin and yang.
Yeah.
And that always plays a role. And there, of course, is a gray area, and that's where magic kind of exists. Magic in itself, you don't want to call it a religion because it comes so much before religion. I mean, I would say that magic and witchcraft of some kind has been around before fire. Once fire happened, boom, it was over. Superstition. So this is stuff that has been around for so long. I'm not saying it's real, but there's a good reason why people are still scared to death. I discovered today, actually, by going to a comic book store. Great guy that I know spent 2 years in South Korea as a teacher. And he started there, and when he was grading papers, he put it in red ink. And he was quickly told, never do that. A name written in red in Korea means you are putting a bad spell on them.
Kind of like Death Note.
I was like, whoa. Yeah, it was very much like Death Note. And that's it. See, Asia's so multifaceted and crap with this cool shit.
You know what Death Note is, right,
Yeah.
Henry?
I've never seen it. I've heard of it. I've never.
It's so this kid gets this book, and it's demons attached to it. Basically, I forgot his name. He's a cool ass demon though. But whatever name he writes in the book, you die. So if he finds out your name, he can write it in a book and you die.
Yeah.
And so that whole series is insane. If you ever watch that.
Another Japanese connection. Before I knew what this movie was about, it feels very much like a manga. It's very dark.
It kind of does.
It almost looks like black and white paneling. And yet again, if a guy from Japan who created Joon is putting up the money, it's going to have a Japanese horror feel. And, so it was made to market, of course, to all of Asia. So
okay, that's cool. Definitely see that.
Oh yeah. This, like they going back to what what I was saying about the kids and stuff earlier. Like they really just take it to that, like, I don't give I don't care how upset you're gonna get with what we're gonna do in this next scene. We're gonna do it anyway, but it's gonna make sense with the story, or it's gonna take the story to that next level. Not just like I said earlier with the shock value here, because oh my goodness, like when that shit happened, when I'm like, when they're bringing, I know you explained it, but when they're bringing, when the kid goes over there with the guy, and he just like lets the kid in there. At first, I'm thinking when the kid goes in the bathroom, I'm like, I thought he was gonna go in there and save him. Like this whole time, I'm like, is he gonna go in there and do some magic shit or whatever? Nope, nothing. But like you said, the black magic is so damn strong that he just
So,
was.
so if someone watched this, say a young kid watched this movie, didn't know nothing about Asian culture, didn't know that this movie was the main plot, like the main source of this was the black magic stuff. What would you lean this towards type of movie? You would think that person will think this is a vampire movie?
Well, I think if a kid, okay, now in my experience, honestly, I can tell you 10 films that shaped my philosophy in life. I'm a different kind of guy and had different parents. But shown to most kids will just scare living shit out of them. It's an insanely gory film. I think for a teenager who was interested in Asian horror, and also, right now lore is so popular among teenagers. Of course, Five Nights at Freddy's started that whole thing off, and now leading to analog horror. So I think this will be something that teenagers would just eat up like crazy. It's gory, it's fast, and it's full of lore. And lore is very important in contemporary horror. Another reason why I loved Long Legs and a lot of people didn't.
Yeah,
I still got to see it.
I wasn't a fan of
See,
that.
I like movies like that too that put lore into it. I like that shit. Yeah, because it's feeding off their culture. It's like it's what they believe. So you see like you watch something like a foreign movie and this type of demon, and you're like, oh shit, they believe in this thing. Like holy shit, you're like, yo, that's crazy. That's way worse than what we got. I'd rather fight our demon than their fucking demon.
Oh fuck yeah! Ours is always like a dumbass, simple way of getting rid of it. Theirs, it's like
even their ghosts. Like every movie they portray, there's like no good ghost. Every freaking spirit is like evil. It's like an angry spirit. They believe like if you're a ghost, you're angry. You're not rested or something.
You got to remember too that these people, every single time that they're told to bring back like this being or this creature or this ghost or this loved one, that they're like, okay, but only do it to this one step. Don't pass this step. And they always pass that step. They always go past that step. And it just, but you know it's going to happen.
Logical
You hope it
plot
happens. You want it to
progression.
happen.
Yeah.
But again, I love how it just goes like darker. Like I know this one wasn't the darkest horror movie, but last week, for example, was a dark fucking movie. And I loved every second of it. Because it was oh my gosh, it was just so
take a bath after watching kind of film. I'll be interested to see how you guys take to the original Funny Games, because in its own way it is also I kind of need to take a bath after this movie.
Okay, I'm interested now.
Same. Which good news. So Funny Games, if you guys do have it, is on HBO Max from the 1997 version, which is the original version. So
and hopefully it's not the
dubbed version.
Yeah,
hopefully.
So we're jumping from Hong Kong to, I believe, Austria.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hong Kong to Austria. What a jump,
Hell
right,
of a
guys?
plane ride.
Yeah.
Hey.
One last thing I have to say is, Sturdy, I love this idea because, one of the great things about movies, too, especially if you are really into movies and you're looking for something different, is you can learn so much from a simple horror film. And it will lead you down so many rabbit holes of utter coolness. And, that's the way I've always viewed films. I know there are a lot of people that, I watched it, I'll never watch it again, but it's part of that love because, maybe we haven't done a lot of traveling, but we've watched a lot of movies and, wanted to learn more. So
This is our way
great
of travel.
idea, Sturdy.
This is our way of traveling. You know, it's
Yeah, exactly.
virtual traveling through film, which we all love, and
Yep.
we can all afford to do as a group.
Yeah, tell me
This,
about it.
this is our version. Listen. This is when you have you have to take care of a family, a household, and all this stuff, and you got bills. You don't have the kind of money to. This is our guys' trip. This is us
Mhm.
all from our homes, virtually traveling. Right now, we're in Hong Kong. We're traveling to Austria next Thursday to discuss
Yep.
funny games, and we're gonna keep doing this. It's a good time. We're gonna do this. It's a summer trip, summer vacation,
Yep.
summer vacation every Thursday.
Oh, Aaron, did you
I
get
like
love
old school.
to have your Hong Kong meal?
Yes, I
Ooh.
did. Which Well, it was just It was just regular Chinese food. So the one spot I was gonna order from, real quick, they were freaking closed. They ended up being closed.
Oh, that
Like
sucks.
I was because I was hitting to. I don't know what was going on with it. So I ended up ordering from this other spot that we usually go to anyway. And I will show off the food and stuff next week for this week and for last week because I forgot
Oh.
last week. So,
Okay.
but both were good food. I will say this: mine was. I didn't find this out till later, but I was hungry, didn't care. And the meal, and on top of that, the meal that I was gonna get from the original place, they didn't have at this one. So I was like,
Mhm.
let me try something different from what I normally get from here. Then,
Mhm.
but more on that next week. Well, I'll just show you the food. I'm not gonna explain it. Probably not gonna remember. But I'm saying it now. But yeah, freaking. I like that you brought that up though, Trevor, because it's a
Mhm.
big reason why I did it. Because I love foreign horror film. I know James loves foreign horror film, so I know we have someone to talk about it with each other at the
Mhm.
very least. I know you love foreign horror films, so it's like every year that this comes up, I know you'll Trevor. Listen,
Mhm.
it's foreign horror time. Let's go.
Yep.
But it's just to give us another outlook on horror, just to see more horror films and stuff like that. Because I love American horror. Don't get me wrong; it's what got me into horror. It's what grew up on. It's what I was brought up on. Do I wish I seen a lot of foreign horror growing up? Hell yes, I do, because I would have probably been
Mhm.
an even deeper fan into it. I deeper dove into it just because I would have known a hell of a lot more. But I'm glad that I am now. I'm glad I'm really diving into it now. And again, so far with this backpacking with Sturdy, no bad movies. I don't think no bad movies so
I
far.
don't think so. I think everything is above a 7 on my rate scale.
Yeah. So we started with The Other Side of the Door, and that was a 7 for us. And so The Other Side of the Door was a 7. That was our lowest score. That was the lowest score
Yeah.
for any of these movies so far, and I gave this one a 7.5. So
It would
that
have
is even
got. Yeah, that's when that stupid bitch crossed that. Didn't listen to the directions that opened
it
that
happens a
door.
lot. People don't listen. Shouldn't open
Don't
that door,
listen.
and then at the end, her husband does the same stupid shit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
set up
The
for a
same
sequel.
after he saw everything that happened from what his wife did.
That's what they
Like
do.
he knew exactly what was gonna happen. Like
But
with
like
her,
that's an interesting lore. That's crazy. I like that village where they go. I got away. You go to my village. We have this basically a ritual
mhm.
type thing. I thought that was cool.
And that's why I say like with a lot of when you have certain cultural aspects in horror movies, I love when it's in those regions for that reason right there, James, for what you just said right
Mhm.
there, because it just makes it make more sense. It makes it understandable more. And you're in that again, you're in that culture, so you're listening to the people of the culture that really know the story. So it's not Americanized, even if let's say someone that was born there, but the story's
Mhm.
passed down, passed down, passed down, or they weren't born there, their great grandparents were born. And in the culture, in this, but then they're generations down to where you're moved down. So it's not the same as them being right there, getting the story right there from, you know what I mean?
Well,
From
let's
the
simplify it
grandson
a
of
little bit.
somebody.
Let's simplify it real quick. Let's say Mummy movie.
Okay.
What movies are better? Mummy movies where Americans find a mummy tomb and they bring the cat was it the what the hell you call the thing? Their casket, whatever. They
I
bring
know
it back to
The tomb.
America. The
Mhm.
tomb, they bring it back to
Oh, the tomb.
America and the mummy's released in US? Or do you rather watch a mummy movie where they're like in the pyramid and the mummy comes
Egypt.
alive there.
Oh, definitely in
Yeah,
Egypt.
I
It
mean,
definitely
yeah, in
works.
Egypt. Would you
Makes
rather
more
watch?
sense.
See, yeah,
It
I'd
makes
rather
more
watch
sense.
the foreign. I'd rather watch it when it's based in Egypt.
Just because, like I said, if it's based with the culture, I'm not saying it always has to be like that, but it just
No, it
tells the
don't.
story better when it's not only based with the culture, and you have the story tied into it. And that does not mean that, like, say, someone that like any of that looks like any of us or anybody in this world can't be the face of the movie. But if they're doing it, say, like with actually, The Other Side of the Door is a perfect example. Just going back a couple episodes, it's a perfect example of how they did it in the culture in that actual country, but it was like a family
Mm.
from either I don't
America.
know if it was from America or
Wait,
England.
no, not America. Wait,
England, right?
so
Or
England.
they were Caucasian.
Whatever. They were
I don't
Caucasian.
know where
They're
they're
white.
from exactly,
They
but
were from somewhere.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm saying though what I'm getting at with that though is they were in the culture though. They were
Mhm.
in the
Yeah, they
you know what I mean
were.
they lived there. They were amongst the culture and all that other stuff, and then they went with one of their cultural beliefs, and they didn't listen, of course. But
Mm.
again, what I'm getting at is they were at least involved, and it was at where you know what I mean. I feel like in certain circumstances, what's the word I'm looking for? It just takes where it takes place matters. Location
Mhm.
takes where location matters. Like again,
Mhm.
shooting that movie, like doing the movie in the actual region. I love when they do that, and then having people of that region of the film, and it just
Mhm.
makes it more believable. Makes it way more believable. I think it makes the movie scary in a sense because you're just like, holy shit! Like this is what this culture believes in for certain movies with this stuff, or this is their favorite subgenre in horror. And again, that's fucking phenomenal. That's fucking awesome. I want to see more stories. And yeah, wow, that's why I love foreign horror. All of that, all of that, because they're just and not every movie is good. Don't get me wrong; they make some bad shit too, just like we do. Everybody makes some bad shit, but and when it's bad, it's oh my god, it's bad. But I think it's on purpose. But the good shit, ooh, it's phenomenal. And Trevor, have you seen The Sadness yet?
Oh my God, yes. That
What did you?
is one of the, I think we even talked about some at one point that
Really?
I do think it's one of the best zombie films made in maybe
Oh,
the last 10 years.
yeah.
I mean, there are
I
other great ones, but the sadness just is so different.
Yep.
And I mean, it's kind of like the zombie equivalent to I Saw the Devil, as far as a zombie
ooh,
movie that's going to make you feel dirty after you watch it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not a fun zombie movie, but it's an excellent.
Oh,
I would even say
very, very violent.
it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh my gosh, it's just so crazy grotesque. It's
Mhm.
I love it though.
Yeah, it's
It's such
awesome.
because at the same time it's such a beautiful art if you're looking at it from the horror aspect and from the creator's aspect. It's gorgeous. You're like, holy shit,
Mhm.
how the hell did you guys do this? That's amazing.
I'm shocked they didn't make a part 2 to milk it. 'Cause
I'm glad they
Hope they
didn't.
don't. Yeah.
I'm glad they I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't.
Mhm.
And I don't want a remake, America. Please stay away from the sadness. Stay far, 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 far away from the
No,
sad. We
no.
don't need a remake of it.
Yeah, we got
Because
enough.
the
We
problem
did
is
enough zombie movies.
here's the problem because here's what people can say. Sturdy, if they make a remake, you just don't have to watch it. I'm gonna fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I already know that. So just don't make the movie, America. Skip that.
Well,
Do it.
I hope not, because America will never be able to. What made that movie truly amazing is okay. So we had this discussion before. So what makes a zombie? And technically, they aren't zombies. Technically, they're more infected.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But it's literally base id. And, you know, I don't think America could remake it because it's the first zombie film that honestly says, well, if eating is a base level instinct, so is sex. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
zombie film that actually crosses that line to zombies are just literally instinctual beings. There's no
Yep.
humanity in them.
Yep. That's true. If that's what it was, they just acted on their impulses.
Well, the
Sex,
main one,
I,
violence.
yeah.
the main
Yeah.
one was he seemed like
Well,
he
because
had a
he was
purpose.
Hell of a
pissed.
way to lose your
He had
eye.
a revenge thing, though. He had a vendetta against that fucking.
I gotta watch that movie again. It's been too long, and it's so freaking good.
He was on a hunt for that one. That's why.
Hunt. He sure as hell was, man. He sure as hell freaking was.
Okay. Other than that, yeah, you just go through that whole movie. It's like raping, like sexual violence, fucking people just killing people for no reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say just the violence in general, the fighting, and
it's
oh my
crazy.
gosh,
What made it really, really
oh.
great is it was also a zombie film that has done something a lot of zombie films have not done successfully, especially in the extended Walking Dead universe, is make it very, very political. These zombies are completely a representation of what they're going against. They're a representation of the worst of humanity, which is surrounding us on a daily basis. And that's maybe why the sadness is one of those foreign horror films that you're just like, okay, you got to put this on top of your list. So
Yeah, you do. Yes, you listen. Not only put this on top of your list, put this on like if you're into gory horror. Listen, if you're into gory horror, like extreme horror, put this on the top of your list. I'll say that first. I don't. If you're in extreme horror in general, I don't care if you're into foreign horror or not. If you're into extreme horror in general, put this on the top of your list and just go from there. Just go from there because this is worth a watch. This is worth. I've been saying it for over a year now. This is worth a second watch. I just need to find time to sit down and watch it again because it's such a great time in a way of entertainment. Again, I love the art of this. You know what I mean? You start to enjoy the art of these films, and the sadness is definitely one of those. I'm interested. I'm excited for Funny Games though. That's gonna be interesting.
It's an intense film.
Intense.
Yep.
It'll be fun.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. But guys, I can show you where we're going next week. Real quick. Let me just find it for you.
We're going to Austria.
Yes. All the way.
That's where Schwarzenegger's from.
I think
so.
Yeah, I think he's from Austria.
Will he be back? Well, we don't know. But
I'll be back. Get down.
Austria. James is gonna work on that. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
But yeah, next week in Austria for Funny Games. I've never seen this movie before, so I'm in for a treat. And I gotta try to find some.
Good luck finding that food. I don't know.
Well, I believe if and I could be wrong, so someone correct me. Germany's kind of close food wise.
Oh, it might be.
Oh yeah, German and Austrian food are almost identical.
Okay, so there's a beer garden not too far from us. So, boom, got that. That's next week.
Beer garden. Let's go to the beer garden. Get a burger.
Listen, I'll get a real thing from there. There was a serious German spot on I don't know what road it's. I forgot where it's on. But
what, the beer garden?
Yeah.
Erie Boulevard.
There you go. Thank you. So yes. Beer garden, getting some good food. Can't wait. Hopefully it's good. I'm sure it'll be good. But so far so good with going through this whole backpack almost 30 and having some good food. I've been having some good food.
Yeah, that's another adventure right there. It's like you're doing like that show, like Anthony Bourdain. You're going around the world trying different foods that you never tried before.
Yeah.
Well, some you did, but some are you never did.
No. So really quick, I'll jump back on my Americanized Chinese food. Instead of getting orange chicken, I usually get this beef and broccoli mix with like shrimp and stuff. But I got orange beef today, and I've never even heard of it before. So I was just like, let me try this out. Okay. I forgot what I was going to get earlier.
I had it before. I had orange chicken, orange beef. I had that before.
I've had orange chicken, but I never had orange beef, and it was so damn good. I had some dim sum too, which it wasn't bad, but I had to try because I've never had it before. I was like, I seen it on the menu. Let me try it.
Dim sum is very different than what because so dim sum is to China what tapas are to Spain. The bun thing is just one of hundreds of items that's considered
Yeah.
dim sum. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know there's different. The variation that I had of it, I was crazy
Is
about. I know
that
there's
that
different
little? Is
variations.
that little meat pastry pocket thing?
Can be that. Can
That
be
is a
a
variation.
dumpling or whatever. It can be virtually anything. It's just a small portion.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, the little small portion thing I had, which was what James is talking about, it was like I said, it wasn't bad. It was all right. It wasn't bad, but it
All right.
wasn't really
Mm.
my thing. But overall, great food. Great food. Super super happy with that. And you know what, people? I think we're gonna wrap this one up. And I also
Awesome.
think you need to follow our guest, our friend Trevor. And Trevor, can you just let the people know where they can follow you at, good sir?
Thank you for joining us
Ambassador
again.
Radio, ambassadorradio.org. It's a radio show, but we're expanding in the near future, hopefully, to do more content creation, possibly podcasts, things like that. But you can get to our socials, including our YouTube channel on ambassadorradio.org. The show is pretty simple. It is obscure and hard to find musics of all genres. And I love doing it because every episode is an education to me.
Awesome. Awesome. And listen, people, come check us out this Saturday on Popcorn and Pints, where it is actually our co-host's birthday episode. His birthday just passed, and we're going by
Happy
his
belated
podcast.
birthday.
Happy belated! It's shout out to you, Chris. Happy belated birthday. Even though I messaged you happy birthday yesterday, but here's another one to you, jerk. So yeah, you guys tune in for that. We're reviewing The Fall Guy and some movie with a long ass title. Something
Gentlemen
about
of
ungentlemanly
benevolent
warfare.
sun
Something.
warfare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
So, oh.
Whatever the hell it's called. Show up for Popcorn and Pints and you'll see. But come wish our guy his industry pod age a happy 45th birthday because it'll make him feel great. And come stay around for the review as well. You know, we go up with our industry ages. We don't go down. That's weird. But also make sure you guys check out Horror Research 30. We'll be back actually on Startle Vision tomorrow reviewing at midnight New
Ninja.
York Ninja. Yeah, you heard it right. New York Ninja. I have never seen it. You know how I do. I watch the day of, the night of. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow at midnight. Be there. Have a great time with us. And then again, like I said, at 9 o'clock on Saturday, come check us out there again. And with that said, we're gonna get out of here. I'll see you in your nightmares. Peace. And again, go check this movie out because it was good. But we're out of here.